Camera on?
Yeah. No. Yeah, okay, I don't know.
Not that one. Very well.
It's okay. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. You're not so enthusiastic, sorry. Okay, Hare Krishna dear devotees, welcome back. Next topic is not as scheduled. If you got the reminders, you would know. This might. Okay, so this 7:30 class has been changed. So it's not Krishna Kishore Prabhu giving a talk. We changed it and we made it a day or a class where all the devotees online and local here share any pastimes they had with Srila Prabhupada, like dreams or any interactions they had with Srila Prabhupada, where sorry about that. So I just switched the camera on. Yeah, so this next one is actually a very special class, unplanned, spontaneous. It's any devotees, please come on and share any pastimes they've had with Srila Prabhupada, preferably post 1977. And the reason why I want to really get this going around the world, not just on this video and this class, is to give devotees faith that Srila Prabhupada is around, Srila Prabhupada is living, Srila Prabhupada is interacting directly with his followers in any shape or form. So it really gives us faith to see how Srila Prabhupada is actually interacting. So I think Gauranga Sundar Prabhu will be the first. He's got his hand up already, raring to talk about Prabhupada.
Oh, yeah, man.
Go ahead.
Prabhu, this happened with me, so I'm so excited to share, and
Please.
I mean, in my life, I've experienced Prabhupada's instruction presence 3 times in my life. And that has, by the result of it, it has shown that, yes, those instructions were right. It was 2013, 14, after those affiliations I've done, I had, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah. So after the affiliation and everything, I had kind of taken back seat from the, Prabhupadanugas, after those things, after the Jaipur festival and everything. And what I had done was, due to my political connections and all, I had joined the BJP, India's leading, and I was the lead campaigner for Modi, to make him the Prime Minister in 2014. So I was leading the digital marketing and everything. I was leading that in the BJP. So they won. And then the 2017 election, UP election, Uttar Pradesh election, again, I was in charge of the digital marketing, social media, everything. That is where I learned the social media, why I'm doing here, So I made them win that also. I was leading the Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. I had my own team of 200 people under me working, and I was leading that. So now after, this was in May, okay? May the results came, BJP won big mandate. So after that, Amit Shah, Narendra Modi's right hand, he called me and he wanted our team to take up the 2019 election. Now, this is June month, okay? And he told me, the Amit Malviya, their IT in charge, he told me that they know me by the name Gaurav Mohanot. So, you come and meet Amit Shah in Delhi headquarters, and a check of 12 crore, I don't know how many in dollars it is. It is ready with him. You take the check. So I was like, I went to sleep very happy very happy, and 12 crores and, my family support and everything. I'm very, very nice. Slip. 2:30 in the night around that time, I get Srila Prabhupada and said, now focus on spreading Krishna consciousness through social media. I was like, I got up. I literally got up, 2017. I said, I have to go and take the check. This check is waiting, and here Prabhupada is instructing me to spread Krishna consciousness by social media. I called Nimai Pandit late in the night, I called him. And I said, Nimai, this is what Prabhupada is telling me, yeah, do it then, it's calling, you can start, your social media, it's yours, everything is yours. So next day I called, Amit Shah, in his HMO, Home Ministry. And I told them, sorry, I'm not taking up this campaign. I'm leaving politics for good and, I have some other seva to do, And then so June, if you see that our Twitter handle, it is June started, so that day this is how Prabhupada instructs, like Prabhupada, and I've seen by the result. It could be somebody, you got it sentimentally or like that, but the result is today ISKCON, social media, on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere is bigger than even the normal ISKCON. Or, Madhu Pandit, Prabhu's, in Bangalore. It is much, much bigger. We have 5 lakh followers on Instagram, 3 lakh followers on Twitter. It's massive we are, doing. So you can judge the tree by the fruits. So, this is why I see, that, yeah, it was Prabhupada's, direct instruction for me to do this seva. And that's why I'm very passionate of this seva. You know how much I'm passionate, how much I tell you to come and do it, So this is what, is my, this with Prabhupada. And obviously, in 2001, actually, I was the person who was responsible for Nimai Pandit to leave India. I complained about him because I was with the gurus, So I went and complained to the GBC that Nimai Pandit is spreading Ritvik in the Jew temple. So they kicked him out because of me, and they garlanded me and they rewarded me. Oh, he's the Messiah of Jew temple, like that, But that time Nimai Pandit had sown this seed in me, and and that time there was no much internet, So whatever I have to do on my own. Now you have everything on the net, everything you can search and everything, So yeah. So that time it was like, now what to do? I want to really know whether Prabhupada is my guru or who is my guru. So with that deep anguish, deep dissatisfaction, like tension and in the mind, confusion and so many things going on. I went to Vrindavan. I went to Vrindavan when I was staying at Radhakund. It was 2001. I was staying at Radhakund in Gopal Temple. Gopal Temple.
Is this another pastime you're telling now? Because we're gonna go around each one.
It's a small past, just 1 minute. It's another pastime. So just So I was staying at Gopal Temple, and I was really, Prabhupada was there in the Gopal Temple, and I was crying. So what to do? Should I accept? Because that time Mahanidhi Swami from ISKCON was ready to give me initiation. So I was like, what to do? Srila Prabhupada, guide me. Should I, accept you as my spiritual master, or should I accept, your disciples as my spiritual master? So that night when I went to sleep in the banks of Radhakund at Gopal Temple, I again got this Prabhupada dream, and he called me, Gauranga Sundar, I am there for you. And that is the name, I use the name Gauranga Sundar, This is how, he said, Gauranga Sundar, I am there for you. So, that is how I accepted Srila Prabhupada, and then I never turned back, So Srila Prabhupada ki.
Janas Priya, Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, I think Prabhupada dreams are very auspicious. If I'd like to share a dream. This happened in 1980 maybe. And I always wanted to cook for Srila Prabhupada. I never had the opportunity. So in my dream, I was able to cook just a very simple thing. It was like dal, rice, chapati, something simple. and there was a little table, like a wooden table with a wooden chair with a candle. And Prabhupada came and sat down, and I brought the prasadam out, and I put it on put it on the table, and I walked away, and Prabhupada started eating it. And that's the dream. So I think this is very real when this happens to the body, because you cultivate a desire to serve Guru. So Krishna becomes very happy, the parampara become very happy. So what do? They make the arrangements. And if it didn't, Prabhupada is not tied to time or place. He's Trikalpa, present, the back, and the future. So Prabhupada is there always, immediately, instant. Prabhupada is more instantaneous than instant. As soon as you wanna hook up with Prabhupada, Prabhupada is right there, like immediate. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Next is me. I'll try not to talk about me. I'll tell you a very, very fantastic story that happened to us in Turkey. I'm based in Turkey. And in 2006, we got our first kind of center building. It was in the middle of town with all the clubs. So it's perfect for us to wake up early, do Mangalari, blah, blah. And it took me about total 1.5 years to fix it up and get it ready. So when I started work, because I was alone practically. So when I started work on that, there was one other Mataji serving with me at that time, helping me out. So at one point, maybe 2 months, 3 months after start working, she said, why don't we have Prabhupada? Because she sees the temples online and there's Prabhupada Murti, right? So she says to me, why don't we have Prabhupada? I said, we can have Prabhupada, but it takes money. So she said, okay, I'll give you $200 or $300, something like that. And then I started to do research, and we found out that Srila Prabhupada Murti would cost $600 from Vrindavan. So we collected the money. That's not really the story, but we collected the money and then paid for Prabhupada to buy his Murti. And then the next problem came with how to get Prabhupada from Vrindavan to Turkey, which is a Muslim country. Not so easy. So we contacted a few like shipping companies, and 2 of them, we had 2 experiences where one said, yes, I can bring in, and then he tried and something got blocked from India, couldn't. Then the second one tried, couldn't. And in this time I'm doing work, right, at the temple. So I'm fixing up the temple, and I'm also full-time working as a teacher. So I was like, and I was begging Prabhupada, you got to come, because if you're here, I get more enthusiastic, more inspiration to finish it quickly, because he'll be there sitting with us. So nothing happened with these 2. And then we get stuck. It's like we bought Prabhupada, we paid Prabhupada, and no way to bring him to Turkey. Both of these shipping, I'm sure the cargo companies understood or got information that Srila Prabhupada is the head of a religious society. So by shipping that statue, that Murti, to a Muslim country, the shipping company could get into trouble and lose their customers or something like that. So they both backed out. So we're like, what to do? And then, this took about a year and 3 months, something like that. So then time was coming to approach to Janmashtami. So this must have been Janmashtami 2007. And we planned that to be the opening day of this Indian Cultural Center. And Srila Prabhupada had to be there. In my consciousness, had to be there for that at least. I was like, how? It's not happening, blah, blah, blah. So then the last couple of weeks, somebody said to me, why don't you try DHL? I was like, why? What's so different? They said, well, DHL, because of their fame and how big they are, nobody asks them questions. They just ship stuff in and it just gets passed without any looking, without any problem. And they don't check anything in India. I mean, as far as it religious or not religious, they don't care. They just ship. So I called DHL and they said, I think it was $1,000. $1,000 to ship, when Prabhupada only cost $600. So I don't know, I went back to the lady who gave us this initial $300 or something like that. I think she gave again $300. And then I told other people, we had some Indian friends in congregation that we're having trouble. And somebody gave 200, somebody gave 200. Eventually we collected the $1,000 and paid DHL. Now, at this stage, it was 4 days, 5 days, something like that, maybe 6 days to the opening day. So DHL took Prabhupada, or Vrindavan delivered Prabhupada to DHL, I think in Delhi. And then they gave us a tracking number. And they said, with this tracking number, you can follow your parcel. So I think it was like 4 days left to the opening when he had to be in Istanbul for the opening. We had invited television, newspaper, the head of the Indian consulate was going to be there. So, you know, I just couldn't think that Prabhupada couldn't be there, you know. And so I was like, he has to be here. This is Krishna's plan. So anyway, then we start tracking the day. And the first day he went from Delhi to Bombay. And nothing happened. Still in Bombay by the second day. Every kind of 3 hours, we're checking with the tracking code. Where is Prabhupada? Is he coming? Is he landed in Istanbul? Then we see the next day that he flew to England. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Why is he flying to England? You know, should be coming directly to Istanbul. Then nothing happened. The next 6 hours went by or something like that. We see that he went from England to Ireland. I'm like, what's going on? We couldn't figure it out. And I was like, what? Prabhupada's touring all these places to see the deities before he comes to Turkey. So then the next day, he went from Ireland to Paris, to France. I'm like, my God. And that point was the opening day of the Indian Cultural Center. So we went ahead with everything, put Prabhupada's big picture there, had a huge celebration, very wonderful celebration. And then we it was a heavy day, busy day, stay up late, blah, blah, blah. So then I went to bed, everybody went home. The next day, that was Janmashtami, right? So the next day is Prabhupada's appearance day. And we just, as strange as it might seem, we just forgot about Prabhupada, the parcel. And then I must have got up late, I'm sure. By 10:30, 11, that Mataji who paid for Prabhupada came to the temple, came to the place. And we were getting ready to offer Prabhupada Guru Puja at 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock. So it's fasting until 12. So 12:30. We got the tray ready, everything ready. And we're just walking towards Prabhupada's altar where the picture is. And there's a knock on the door. And I just sent, her name was Dharma. I sent Dharma, I said, Dharma, go and open the door. And she went and opened the door. And there's 2 DHL people with a huge box holding it like this. And then both of us looked at each other. We were in shock. We took Prabhupada to the other side of the temple and start opening him. And during this time, we're like talking to each other and saying, oh my God, do you understand what's happening? Srila Prabhupada could have come any day during that 1.5 years of me preparing the temple. And I wanted him so much. He didn't come. We wanted him for the opening of the Indian Cultural Center on Janmashtami. He didn't come. He came on his appearance day, at the time when we should offer him, he came. It was like, oh my God, so I've been hairs now standing with him. I was like, Prabhupada just showed us that he's a real personality living. It may look like a murti, and it may be a murti in kind of physical science, but it is Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada appeared to us on that unique time and occasion, just to give us faith and make it very clear that he's real and he's with us. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhu, could you choose a picture? Could you choose a picture of the deity, please? Of the Prabhupada.
Murti,
Yeah.
1 second, I'll try. I mean, I can share, right? I can share screen.
You could put it in the chat. Put it
Yeah,
in the chat.
I can share the screen. I'll give it immediately for you. Please. Okay, just coming right now. I'm sharing the screen. So this is our Srila Prabhupada, 1997. Well, this is my
Hari
hold
Bol,
on.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada.
Hi, Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Okay, I think Gauranga, please, if you want to tell your pastime, just raise your hand with this emotion option on Zoom. Fine. So Gauranga Sundar Prabhu has his hand up for another pastime. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhu. So this is related to book distribution, right? So I used to do a lot of book distribution from 2097 to 2000, around that time. So this day I was doing the book distribution at Andheri station. Mumbai, just one station from Jew temple. I was distributing books and there were no books were going, and I was really praying to Prabhupada, oh please Prabhupada, somehow the book should go, So, but till afternoon, no book went because people were just going here and there, no book. Then suddenly, I see a person running and coming to me. Like, what happened? I thought he's coming to beat me up or what, I don't know. No? He's like shouting, oh, wait, I just don't go. He's like, totally, he was thinking I may go away. So he's shouting and I'm confused. What happened to this guy, suddenly, he's like acting very strange. So he came to me and he said, do you have Bhagavad Gita? Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita? I said, yes, I have. What happened? He then narrated his story and my hairs on my body just stood up. I mean, we all are talking about, we accept Prabhupada as our guru and Prabhupada comes to our dream. But this person is a layman. He was going to commit suicide that previous night. He put on the fan, he put the rope and he was about to, but that did not hold. So he slapped, very, very frustrated. I want to die now, I'll do something to die. In the night, he told Prabhupada came, from ISKCON, this Swami came and he told, don't do this, read Bhagavad Gita. Don't do this, read Bhagavad Gita. And I was like, I got up and I was searching where I can get Gita, and I was coming to the Jew temple from Andheri to get the Gita. And I saw you. And you gave me the Gita, So this is how Prabhupada is not only, inspiring devotees. I have so many people who are even in our social media, they come, that, oh, Prabhupada came in a dream and told to attend the lecture. It's like amazing things, Prabhupada is doing. He's making his own devotees somehow, not waiting for us.
Wow. That's an incredible pastime because it shows something I've never heard before.
Yeah.
How Prabhupada even coming to people who we may call non-devotees. Wow.
Yeah. Jai.
Hi, Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Anybody else next? Okay, then I will go. Let me know if you want to say something. I'll go with the next one. The next one, actually, it was a dream. And I didn't know what it meant. And I asked people, and then they seemed to somehow get the inspiration to have the correct meaning. I had a dream with Srila Prabhupada, and me and Prabhupada were walking along the Ganges River in Mayapur. Just outside the Mayapur ISKCON complex is Ganga River. And me and Srila Prabhupada were walking together. And Prabhupada was, I guess, talking to me. And then there was a boat on the side of the Ganges, big, huge one. And that was Prabhupada's boat. And then we were walking towards the boat and the boat started to drift away. This is in the dream, okay? The boat started to drift away. And I said, Prabhupada, your boat is going. He said, go, jump, catch it. And I just ran on the bank, jumped into Ganges and got hold of the rope. And, it's a dream, so it doesn't really follow logic. I pulled the rope to the side and brought the boat back and put it on the side and, tied the ropes. And Prabhupada just came like nothing was going wrong. And he just walked onto the plank and walked back onto his boat. And to be really honestly, I didn't know what that meant. It was a dream. It was great. I don't have many Prabhupada dreams. So I was so happy that happened. But I didn't know what it meant. And I told two devotees separately, and they gave me exactly the same answer. It's kind of funny. He said that boat is ISKCON, Prabhupada's ISKCON. And you jumping in Prabhupada is showing that you're, of course not, I'm not going to say ISKCON, but something like meaning that you are, and I see this manifesting now, sort of pull part of the team that will pull the boat of ISKCON or Prabhupada organizing the Srila Prabhupada. And this is what we are all doing in this Prabhupadanuga world now. Actually, we're all part of this dream that we are here trying, and we will do it. Absolutely. I have no doubt that this will happen. We're going to bring this boat of Prabhupada's organization back to Prabhupada's control and Prabhupada's inspiration. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hi, Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
You have the last time with Prabhupada? Come here.
I don't remember any class.
Really?
With you.
There is
You
none.
and Prabhupada.
Come.
Dream or some nice story.
So this is Madhava. Come. He's one of 3 devotees that serve this temple full time. Mathurapati Prabhu is the full leader and starter and the inspiration. It's been going on for like 20 years. And Madhava Govinda Prabhu has been, how long have you been here?
Well, I first met Mathura like 3 years ago.
3 years.
And since 2 years I'm living here.
Yeah, so and he's a wonderful, strong part of this temple. Without him, nothing gets cooked, not much move. So we're very, very grateful to him for hosting us and having us here and tolerating us. And he's going to tell us one of his experiences with Srila Prabhupada. Just speak it louder because Mike is.
Yes. Well, I came first into contact with Prabhupada through Mathurapati Prabhu. It was basically, his mercy. And, 3 years ago, I was going to one, like, how you say, protest, demonstration against the coronavirus. And, suddenly Mathurapati, I didn't even recognize, like, monks, like, wandering around the area. And one friend of mine was like,
Look here.
one friend of mine was like observing the monks, asking the people, telling some whatever, and then he said, "Well, let's go to these guys. What I'm curious, what they're telling." And then we went there, and then I first saw the books, and immediately I thought, "Wow, these books I need to have." They were, I think this was mantra book and. Easy Journey to the Planets, and then I had €5, and I wanted to have all of them. So Mathurapati didn't give me all of them, and I hadn't enough money to purchase all of the books. But then, luckily, he gave me like 2 or 3, and then I started reading. And the first thing I read in the Easy Journey to Other Planets was, that the yogis leave their body, and through yogic meditation they travel in space to different planets, and this was so like exalted. I never have read something likely. And then I shared the book with one friend, and then I came to the temple for the first time, and then suddenly I got the Bhagavad Gita. I read the Bhagavad Gita, and then it was like, when I first read the Bhagavad Gita, it was like, it was like a little punch in my face, like Prabhupada telling this and that. And it was like, it seemed so right. I didn't understand like much when I first read the Gita, but it was like some hidden truths which touched my heart very, very deep. And then I started practicing, started chanting, started coming to the temple, attending the programs, and then I decided to move into the temple. And this was my first contact through the books of Prabhupada. I didn't met him physically, of course, but through the like sound vibration of Prabhupada, which directly came through my ears. Hearing, like basically reading is not different from hearing from the spiritual master. And ever since I'm trying to follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, and Yes, so that's basically it.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Rivo.
Prabhuji, anything?
Or unless.
Okay. Gauranga Sundar Prabhu. Go ahead, please.
So, this is Prabhupada's reciprocation past time I'm telling right now, and how it changed my life completely from a karmi to a devotee. So, I'm born in a Jain family. I'm a Jain by birth. I've studied in a Catholic family. My friends have been Muslims all around. So in my school and everything. So from the Catholic family, I had read Bible, everything. My Muslim friends, OAS and many other, they used to tell me about Quran and my study of, my Jainism and plus I read Shankaracharya's Sarita Bhashya because I was very philosophical. So I had gone through all these. So after you go through all these, what happens it becomes like a hodgepodge, khichdi, like completely confused. So in that frustration, in that confusion, very confused, frustrated, So one day I was just, walking down my streets and I saw these some, and the around Jew temple on the road, Jew beach. I saw these devotees, Westerner devotees, they were there from Russian, I think, some Russian devotees and all. They're doing Harinam Sankirtan and they have this Prabhupada picture with them. So I was watching them, I was wondering, who is this person who made these, foreigners into devotees? I'd never seen anything like that before in India. I was very curious. So I went to Srila Prabhupada's Murti, that the picture of Prabhupada that they were holding, and I told Prabhupada, if you're really a true saint, then show me the right path. I want to understand God, but I don't know how to understand God because I've read all these philosophies and I'm more confused than I really have the answers now. So if you really, are a true saint, then show me the path. That night, that evening, I came back my home and, I slept. And the next morning when I got up, it was around Diwali time. So I started, doing cleaning of my cupboard and everything. And my father, this is 96 I'm talking about, okay? My father had become a life member of ISKCON in 81, 82. Okay. So that time he got the books. I never knew. So that Bhagavad Gita, original 72 edition he had got. It was lying in the cupboard. All these years, it was lying. No one touched it. Nothing, just lying, And I just next day of praying to Prabhupada that show me the path, I happened to see that there are some books lying here. And I open I see what is there and I take this Bhagavad Gita out and I start reading it. One by one I'm reading and I'm like, my God, this is what I was looking for whole life. Every answer, every confusion which I had, it's being cleared by Srila Prabhupada. So this is how, instant prayer to Prabhupada, please, because that was the real anguish, from my heart. I really want to understand God. Now, if you are a real saint, show me who God is. And obviously Prabhupada, when Prabhupada had Krishna, he could give Krishna. No, if you have Krishna, you can give Krishna. So instantly Prabhupada gave me Bhagavad Gita next day and I was reading it and then I read it for 2-3 months completely, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours a day. And I had this 1,000 questions, and I took those questions to the temple and they answered. And this is how my Krishna consciousness, but just by Prabhupada, inspiring this, this way it started, it just changed my life from a karmi and so-called karma, dharma, arth, kam, moksha, that kind of a person, karma kanda person and a karmi to a completely U-turn into a spiritualist. You can say that much. This is a Prabhupada book's effect.
Sorry, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Now we have Madhurapati Prabhu ki Jai. Not speak about Prabhupada exactly. If you've had any dreams or past-time interaction with Srila Prabhupada after 1977. Then you want to share.
Only this is the topic, no? Okay, okay, maybe this is one. Yeah, at the beginning, I started with Krishna consciousness for 20 years, let's say. And before, okay, I think everyone knows I was in the nightlife. My business was, my business was all this nightlife nonsense, clubs and DJ booking, and everything. And then I come in with Prabhupada's, actually the best translation, it's the most original, 1983 Bhagavad Gita in Germany. And then I started to read. And then immediately after, let's say, in all my life, what I have done nonsense, nobody could stop me, even not police, not the lawyer, not the judge. In some court case, when I have to do some nonsense, my mother, not my father, nobody could stop my sinful activities. Nobody. And all my girlfriends, they say always, "Oh no, you cannot do. It's dangerous what you're doing. Police catch you, or this, or someone kill you, and then you get a shoot in your head, maybe and this." And I say, I know exactly what I do, no problem. And then I read Bhagavad Gita, and immediately it was like when I read Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, it was like Prabhupada kicked me directly. So this feeling was someone between the pages or lines, some person kicked me in the face. Said, "You rascal, stop this nonsense!" And I said, "What is this? What kind of book is this? This is not a normal book." And I was feeling, hey, this man is my master. I do it what he said. Because this was for me this is like physical person was there. In some form I cannot explain. There was one person immediately, and if I see the pictures later on of Prabhupada, like this, with the finger, and then I read that he speak, you rascal, that this was even, I have not known all this, that he speak so harsh. In the beginning even, it was little bit like that. Immediately, I hear more, like, you should stop your life, your nonsense, give your life to Krishna. And then later on, I have done this. And then I was in ISKCON, they told me, you need the spiritual master. I was wondering, this guy is stupid. I have fully, my spiritual master kicked me in the face even and told me what to do. And then I looked to them and I said, I have a spiritual master. It's Srila Prabhupada. And then I was wondering why they say I should take a spiritual master. I have a spiritual master. He changed my life. And they say, no, you need the real spiritual master. No, must be stupid. I was from my view, it was saying these guys are crazy. Well, I know exactly what happened with me. This is my master, life after life. Nobody can change it. And then I stayed more than 10 years in ISKCON. Every day. And everyone, expert, these so-called gurus, everyone wanted to change my mentality that actually Prabhupada is dead and I must take some physical guru from ISKCON. Even I have not 1 second have doubt. Not 1 second, even after 10 years, they preached to me. There was not 1 second thinking that really maybe I need this guru, some from ISKCON. It was in my heart, Prabhupada was so deep, like a branding, that you rascal, you change life, and I do it. And this was the first connection. Later on, I saw Prabhupada, it was so sweet. When I read this book, then I feel that someone is speaking to me very nicely and give me instruction. So that's what's for me. From beginning, therefore, I could not understand why I should take some ISKCON guru. It makes no sense.
Jai.
Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna. I just gonna read little something I wrote very short. Srila Prabhupada is the main link to Krishna for the next 10,000 years. He's very much alive and more than ready to engage us in Krishna's devotional service. He gives Divya Gyan to anyone who comes to take shelter of his lotus feet with a humble attitude and a wide open heart.
Und tu mal ihn wechseln. Er soll dann, falls er irgendwas hat, ich brauche ein Erlebnis, dann mach du weiter und er soll.
Can you hear me?
Yes, brother, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, because you guys were talking.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
German,
So,
they're rude.
so Prabhupada could give Divya Gan to anybody that comes to take shelter of his lotus feet with a humble attitude and with a wide open heart. The least resistance that we put up to wake up from the illusion that I am the supreme enjoyer, and my constitutional position really is to be the eternal servant of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay, dear devotees, try to keep it not philosophy, really, unless Prabhupada said the philosophy, but just really the pastime. We want pastimes and interactions with Prabhupada that happen post 77. We're trying to find more customers, so I'll go on with one of the dreams I had. Actually, the first dream I ever had with Srila Prabhupada. He came to me in my dream and he says, you clean before I'm coming to preach there. I will come and preach there. But before I come, you have everything ready and you have everything clean and ready. And that was God knows how many years ago I had that dream. But you see, that dream came connected maybe 8 years later when I had this first dream that I told you about with Prabhupada coming his Murti. Prabhupada didn't come until the whole building was finished, building work was finished, dust was finished, everything was clean, and everything was ready. Then Srila Prabhupada came. So there's some different meanings to this also, as well as directly. But for us also, it means, one meaning is clean your heart, clean your consciousness. When you clean your heart and clean your consciousness, which is what Ishan has been trying to preach to us for the past 3 days or a week, giving classes, Srila Prabhupada will come and fully sit in the core of your heart and manifest his presence in your heart. We have him now already, but we have him to some degrees now. But when that heart is fully clean, the same with Krishna, of course. These principles, they're interchangeable with Prabhupada and Krishna. So I'm preaching. Okay, I'll stop preaching. So anyway, clean your heart, prepare your heart, and Srila Prabhupada will come and sit there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Gauranga Prabhu, did you have your hand up? We were just asking, while the something? Okay, yes, please, go ahead. Janas Priya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I have a god brother. His name is Ramanya. He's like the head pujari of the Spanish community, and he travels around the planet installing Prabhupada deities. He's a Prabhupadanuga, very much so, and he's very saintly. So he was telling me that every time he will ask Prabhupada a question at night, really from his heart, and Prabhupada appears to him every time with the answer. So he was very concerned about the poisoning. So he asked, he wanted to know what happened was he poisoned? So he asked Srila Prabhupada, were you poisoned, Srila Prabhupada? And so Srila Prabhupada, he said he moved his head, like he asked him, and you know how Indians move their head, saying like, yes. Prabhupada didn't talk, he simply moved his head. But then he said to him, but that's not very important. He says, what is important is that you love Krishna and that you chant Hare Krishna and you propagate this movement. That's what's important. He said, the rest it's stuff that comes and goes, basically. Hare
Wow.
Krishna.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I love to have it. Okay, another dream. This was a dream also. There was a girl in Turkey and she was, covered, her head was covered, so kind of quite, let's say, fixed up Muslim girl. And she was somehow in connection with me. I think she was actually my English student at first and we became friends. So then I was trying to preach to her, trying to help her accept Krishna, see Krishna, blah, 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 and nothing much was shifted. In the dream, she came to the center and Prabhupada was in the corner, he's situated in one corner, and then I was sitting, and then she was sitting. So I was between her and Prabhupada. And I'm talking, she came to the center and I'm talking to her, trying to convince her of Krishna consciousness, and nothing happening. And then her eyes just popped like out of her head. Wow. And I was like, what are you looking at? And I look over there and I see Prabhupada's murti as normal. And I turned back to her and I said, what happened? She says, okay, now I accept everything you say. I said, what happened? Why did she said, your Prabhupada moved and told me this is correct. So I understood. As much as I try to preach, it ain't going anywhere. But when I connect people to Srila Prabhupada and they have a connection with Prabhupada, Prabhupada is the convincing element. Prabhupada is the preacher. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There's Nimai Nitai Das I see here, Raja Prabhu. Do anybody here who's listening, if any of you have any dreams, any interactions with Srila Prabhupada post 1977, just raise your hand or open your mic and speak, please. I did. 1488.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jai.
Dandavat pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
This is our Nimai. Haribol.
Yeah. I had a dream, and Prabhupada.
Your video is on, no?
No, the video is not very important because we are, even the last time it was a little bit a mistake. More important is the shabda, the sound vibration. Yeah. Do we agree on that the shabda is more important than the video?
Well, we'd like to see you also, if it's okay by you.
No, it's very dark here. I don't think you will see me.
No problem. Okay.
So the thing is, I had a dream, and in that dream, Prabhupada told not only me, but there were other devotees also. He said, I and Krishna will be very pleased if you fight the cunning cheaters. This is what he said.
Please fight the cunning cheaters.
Yeah. Yeah, the cheaters who poisoned him, who changed his books, find a way. That was his intention. He didn't say exactly these words, but the intention was find a way to fight the cunning cheaters. And I was thinking later on that besides unity, which is missing, there must be also purity in order the cunning cheaters to have this successful struggling, because Prabhupada was all the time struggling with them to have this counteract their activities. That is what I understand. Somehow we have to find, either by parallel society or whatever, to find a way to counteract their activities and to take them out of the movement, which will be very difficult, but not impossible. Anyway.
Yeah. But what we see actually, the best way to counteract any demoniac influence is the example of Krishna. He directly comes himself and manifests himself, which is Prabhupada said, keep the sunshine shining. If you keep the sunshine shining, the glowworms will have no attraction. So that's our principle now here also. Make the sunshine of Prabhupada consciousness like a nuclear bomb, more than the sun. Make it so bright that nobody will look at any of these glowworms. That's the way to defeat them. Get Prabhupada back in the center. Okay,
Yeah.
1488. Please go ahead.
Who is that?
1488.
Hare Krishna.
Hey,
Um,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So,
What's your name, Prabhu?
Prahlad Chandra.
Oh, Mr. Prahlad. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna. Yeah, so I had a Prabhupada dream. I had multiple.
Please.
But yeah, they were like years ago.
It's okay.
So
Remember-
yeah, one dream I remember. I was
Are
in a
you-
dark.
Is it possible to have your video? Because the emotions and the feelings expressed by your face capture a lot more, if possible. Jai. Go ahead.
I'm being still.
Oh, no.
So
I know,
pretty
I
much
know.
I was in a dark room. Well, I mean, yeah, this is just one of them, but I remember I was in a dark room and there was nothing in the room. And I was having a pretty difficult time, but I was chanting the entire night. And at like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, I look up at the ceiling and then I see Prabhupada, on the ceiling. And then he's looking down and he says, "Don't worry about it. Just keep trying."
Jai.
And that was one dream. And then I used to see Prabhupada all the time doing books. It used to be every time when I would do books, I would see Prabhupada, and then he would be like looking down from the clouds, smiling, and like he was really, he has like a huge smile on his face. And although he didn't say anything, I could tell he was very, happy that I was trying to do books. Those are just a few,
Jai, you got one more?
Another one?
One more.
I mean, I have multiple. It's been a while since I've had Prabhupada dreams. I guess Prabhupada only appears when you're trying to be Krishna conscious, and then if you're, I guess, not trying to be, then he doesn't really appear. So
You'll be amazed because we just had a devotee tell pastimes of how Prabhupada appeared to a non-devotee, telling him to go and buy a Bhagavad Gita.
yeah,
So that is a further.
I remember the first book I got. The first sentence I read, the first sentence I read in the book, it was Prabhupada saying Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, because I opened up to a random page and I was like, wow, that's true. So Prabhupada definitely has a lot of potency in the books he wrote. Yeah, I first joined. I mean, I had like, an experience where chanting and that Prabhupada is just super, super, super happy. And you know, Prabhupada is a pure devotee of the Lord, so he only has the best interests at heart and mind for everyone, you know. So I don't know. It just, my brain keeps on getting duller and duller. I think you're on mute. But that's why I appreciate hearing all the other devotees' dreams. I had the first devotee, like one of the first devotees I've ever met in Denver, Colorado. He had like hundreds of Prabhupada dreams. You know, he was really very fortunate soul.
Can you tell us one? Haribol, tell us one.
One?
Tell us one of his dreams.
Oh, his dreams are pretty far out. They're pretty
Just
trippy.
tell one. Far out.
Well, his dream, okay, like from my recollection, you know, it has to deal with like Prabhupada and like there's all these people around and you know he's trying to put Prabhupada in the center and there's a whole bunch of crazy people, rascals and Kali chillas. So you know he's just always fighting for Prabhupada in his dreams. And you know, Prabhupada is always just like reciprocating with those, you know, those feelings and whatnot. You know, yeah, I guess from my experience, those who have Prabhupada dreams are very close to Prabhupada.
Sorry, just if you have a pastime, share the pastime. If you don't, we're going to the next person.
Yeah, go to the next person.
Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki. Mahatma Prabhu, is that you I see there?
Unpin.
How do I unpin? I don't know what to do. It's German.
Hello, devotees.
Where is unpin?
Is it okay to share my dream?
Of course. That's what it's all about.
Like that?
Yeah, I thought so. You know, when I came
All of them.
to consciousness, and it was just 10 years after I arrived in US from Chile at 14 years old. I was 24. I had a heavy Spanish accent. I was one of two or three Spanish, members of the New Yorker community on San Diego. Before that, we're talking about 1977, September, and I went to New York to work in the Spanish BBT and later on in the Office of International Public Relations. I didn't last in either one of them very much because I was just not qualified, but in any case, I tried and they tried me, gave me an opportunity. But I was mainly like, cleaning. I'm a service dasya type of person. So I was just cleaning and cutting vegetables and, doing all that menial work. And I was not considered very much, Spanish guy, he belongs in the kitchen. The moment they saw that I couldn't learn Sanskrit very well, they just kind of engaged me in some menial, like Shudra type of work, no problem. But I was seeing that I was doing a lot of service to the devotees. What happened is that the devotees would give up their service. So next thing I know, I'm in charge of the reception, the video room, the museum, life membership quarters. It was 6. Oh, Mahaprashadam, I like that service. In any case, I had the keys to six department. I started Friends of Lord Krishna because devotees would not do their service, right? So I would just kind of get in there and do it. And I was always serving other departments, like the BBT needed something, the archive needed something, and I would do it. And one time I needed something from them, and they said, well, it's going to be $100. I was shocked, you know. So I thought, okay. So what happened is that I had a couple of dreams, a few, actually, it must have been like 6 times, so, in which Prabhupada was giving a lecture and nobody, Bhakta Mario, was in the back of the temple room, you know, near the wall. And all of a sudden, Prabhupada would look at me and smile. And all the big sannyasis and all the big devotees and all the other devotees would turn around to look at who he was smiling to. And it was Bhakta Mario, somebody nobody knew. And and I felt a little shy in the dream, but I felt like really nice. I felt so nice that Srila Prabhupada had looked at me and smiled at me. I had an incredible dream in 1980 in Bombay. I was being influenced by some Indian sadhus that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their argument was, is not Krishna, he's a servant of Krishna, you know. And I was saying, no, he's Krishna, but at that time I had very little knowledge. So I was a little perplexed and that I couldn't convince them or anything. And I had a little doubt myself. You know, I had just joined a couple of years earlier. So, and I have a dream, you know, and it's a kirtan coming into the Bombay temple, property through the gate, and it's being led by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Immediately I recognized, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was like 10 feet tall and with his arms up like that, and all the devotees in ecstasy, but he was totally black. and I said, oh, okay, yeah. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. And I, more than anything else, it was like this feeling of total health, total warmth, total perfection that I felt as, you know, when I had that dream. And it woke me up, but it was like, it was just every cell in my body was just like perfect, total health, warmth, cozy, a very, very nice feeling. And those are the only 2 dreams. I've had other, but I don't remember. And they were not very vivid, so that's all. Thank you. Glory to Prabhupada.
Okay, Subal Prabhu, please share your wonderful pastimes with us and glorify Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhus. Please
Haribo!
accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So I'm myself Sual Das. I'm from ISKCON Inc. My mentor is His Grace Gaurang Sundar Prabhu. I'm working under him. So a few months ago, I got a dream of Srila Prabhupada, and that was my first dream. So actually, I was feeling very low that days in Bhakti, and I was little demotivated. So when Prabhupada, I was standing in a huge crowd of devotees, and there was some festival going on, and Srila Prabhupada, he came through the car, and he got down, and then all the devotees, they paid obeisances to him. And then next day that scene just disappeared. Then next day I saw that everyone, I was sitting just in front of Prabhupada. We all were sitting very close. So I don't exactly remember, but I remember I was looking at Prabhupada and Prabhupada was looking at me. Then suddenly I very strongly I jumped and I catched the lotus feet of Prabhupada. I was in a mood of like I was in something fear or I wanted to take like Prabhupada's shelter. So I just like in that dream I jumped and I hold on to Srila Prabhupada's feet and I kept his feet on my like head or mouth. And then yeah, again that scene disappeared. Then in the next scene, I saw that there were devotees all over standing in a like in a line. They were standing, and Srila Prabhupada. Actually Prabhupada. I saw Prabhupada doing book distribution. He he took a book and he was giving to one person standing in front of me, and then that person Prabhupada asked him money, and that person donated some money. And yeah, so that was the like final thing which I saw, that Prabhupada doing book distribution. Then yeah, then that dream got over. So like I was that time thinking like, what does this dream mean? And like I was very much encouraged also, because I was feeling little low, and like Srila Prabhupada came and everything happened. So I was feeling very encouraged. Like then I also shared this with Gaurang Sundar Prabhu. So he told me that Srila Prabhupada wants you to only focus on selling his original books. So yeah, I like got an idea of what Srila Prabhupada with Seva Srila Prabhupada want me to do, and that's what I do. Like before, when this dream came, I started doing book distribution. Like from the Gita month only, Gita Jayanti month. In the December, I was doing the book. I started my first original book distribution, and I distributed the original Gitas and everything in the month Gita month. Then I got this dream in around January and February. Yeah, so I think that should be my life goal. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Books, there's no other way.
No other way, no other way, no other way.
No other way, no other way.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, anybody else with a pastime?
I have a pastime of other devotees have related to me.
Please.
One
yes,
devotee, he's a Gujarati young boy, actually.
Prabhuji, your camera is off, you know?
Oh. Yeah, I met this devotee long time ago. He's like 30 years old. At the time, he was like 12, but he had said that he was 21. You know, I found out later that he was just 12, Gujarati. And he knew a lot about every religion and Krishna consciousness and everything. And I was very impressed. So I asked him how you came to Krishna consciousness. And he said, I had a dream when I was around 10 years old. And Prabhupada came in the dream and told me, you are going to worship Krishna under my direction. And he had no idea.
There's no other way.
It makes book devotion. It's like
This kid, he told me he had no idea who this person was, this sadhu was, right? But then, like a year later, he went to like some Indian festival in Anaheim, California, and the devotees had a booth there, and they were selling books. So, and they had a poster of Prabhupada. So he looks up and he recognizes the Prabhupada as the person that came in his dream, like a year earlier, right? And he's a very studious type of person. So he went and he bought all the books, and he started reading them, right? And we used to have these discussions, and he was amazing, you know. And then I found out that he was not 21, he was just 12. And I said, why you lied to me? Oh, because we were like having these, you know, very intricate discussions on everything. And who was going to give credit to a 12-year-old? So I told you guys that I was 21. so okay, I said, please don't do that again. And in any case, long story short, he has a master's degree in divinity, and he is a fully accredited chaplain working in hospitals in all over the US. And and he's like an encyclopedia of Prabhupada's books and everything. But being conservative Hindu family, they said, it's fine, you can go this way, but you have to get the degrees. So, yeah. And now he's married and has a child and everything. But that's how he came to Krishna consciousness. Interesting. I think it was Krishna Kant that told me a story of another devotee, or that it happened to him. I forget. But the devotee was, driving after Prabhupada passed away, and all of a sudden he turns to see like the passenger seat, and Prabhupada was sitting there, and so I forget who it was that this happened to, but then Prabhupada vanished soon after that. So these things happened. I had, while I'm writing this movie script, I was debating how many pages the script should be. And I said, okay, well, let's see this. I was like on page 98. And I said, well, this dialogue has to flow. Let's see what happens. I'm going to leave it up to Krishna. So I pressed the next key on the keyboard, and in big numbers, like 2 inches, for a small little computer, laptop, 108 appeared on the screen. And my hairs went up on end like never before, never after. The script is 108, and I have a lot of faith in it. And I haven't signed anything with anybody, but I have a lot of faith in it. And it's about reincarnation, the power of prasadam, and stuff like that. So it has like the Mahamantra, a Gita verse, the Patalokas, the Vaikuntalokas, and stuff like that. So, yeah, supernatural stuff. Thank you.
Nice. Hare Krishna. Who else is out there? Gauranga Sundar Prabhu, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu, Haribol. So this is a dream of a friend, like a devotee, not friend means he's Prabhupada, senior disciple, and I'm a witness to it. And it's not a dream, it's a reality which I am witness to.
Okay.
For him, it's a reality. I couldn't understand, but that time it was 98. So I was serving Radha Kundas, Prabhupada's senior disciple, originally that time. And he was in the Bhaktivedanta hospital that time, very sick. So I got the opportunity to serve him, take care of him. He was suffering from cancer and liver failure and so many. He was admitted there, become very skinny, So, but he was conscious, he was chanting, he was talking about Prabhupada, and he was telling me a lot of pastimes of Prabhupada, which he witnessed, and was like in full Prabhupada mood. So this day, he's sleeping on his bed, and doctor had told that he's going to leave anytime, his body. So he is just chanting Hare Krishna, his lips are moving. I'm just sitting next to him. I'm just, wiping out his, the saliva that is falling off, all those things I'm doing there. And he's just chanting Hare Krishna, trying to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And suddenly he says, Prabhupada, you came. And he left his body.
Wow.
He said, Prabhupada, you came. And he left his body. So he saw Prabhupada coming to take him. And, he left his body. So that was, it was really a, hair-raising incident for me. I witnessed this,
What was the body's name again, Prabhu?
Radha Kundas.
Oh, Radha Kund. Yeah, I know Radha Kund. Thank you.
He left his body in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, Mumbai. I was serving him that time there.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
The Westerner Radha Kund, right?
Yeah, the Western Radha Kund, yeah. The
Yeah, I
person,
remember.
he used to keep beard also in the later,
What was the body?
Yeah.
I heard of a similar story, Prabhu, and it was a devotee's mother. And the mother said just the moment that just before she passed away, she said, oh, your Prabhupada is here.
Yeah.
Haribo. I'll give you the most recent pastime. And that just happened today. With Prabhupada. So for about 2-3 months, I've been desiring strongly that I really want to go to India, but no chance because the financial situation is terrible. The Turkish economy is terrible. The lira is terrible. So I'm like, yeah, I want to go, but there's no chance. And if you listen to the class this morning, Dayala Prabhu, did you understand what he said?
Yeah, yeah.
Dayala Prabhu just said this morning that there's this big organization going this, and I want you guys to come if I can arrange the air tickets. So I was like, wow, Prabhupada. Yeah, I was just desiring them through Dayala Prabhu, he is arranging possibly. I'm not saying it's confirmed, but still, anyway, it's some interaction with airline ticket. To fly. You also, the one who's coming. He wants the white elephant. That's the white elephant. So yeah, Srila Prabhupada actually, if we're the more conscious we are of Prabhupada, actually, you will see how much more he is actually interacting with us on a more regular basis. Sometimes we're just not so conscious of it. And same with Krishna. Krishna is interacting with us and creating little miracles, and sometimes or most times we're not conscious of it. That's right. Okay. Any more? Anything else from the devotees out there?
What happened to Krishna Kishore?
He's too busy, he said. He couldn't make the class.
Oh, that's too bad.
Told us yesterday. You know, I think he's like the head and the manager, and they've got book publication going on. They got this.
Yeah.
Too much for him, and he felt, you know, he shouldn't have, but he felt maybe he had to spend 2 or 3 hours preparing for the class, maybe. So for that reason,
He told me that there was also a leak from the roof. It's raining a lot in Mexico City, and something broke, and they're having to fix the roof.
okay. So if there is no more pastime to share, I will count to 5, and then if there's no one putting up their hands, we'll call it a day. 1. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare.
Haribol.
Rangasungar has come up with a pastime to keep the nectar flowing. Ki Jai.
Huh.
Go.
This is a pastime of Jalduta coming back to ISKCON. You know, Jalduta coming back. So, you know, it's like, you know, I was in the Jew temple that time, and we had gone to this, you know, the Navy, you know, college had invited us to come and do book distribution. So we had gone, put the table there. I was there. One of my friends were there, and we had gone for this Bhagavad Gitas to distribute. Luckily, the original Bhagavad Gitas that time, you know. And, you know, the whole day we were just, you know, struggling to distribute even one book. So then we came to know that actually the students, you know, when they'll go back, that time they'll take the books. So we were waiting. And then, you know, we had taken around 500, 600, around 1,000 something books, you know, there. Very big college, this one. The only Navy college that time in India, in Mumbai, right? So, you know, the college got over, and, you know, it was like a rush coming to our table, and Prabhupada books were going like hot cakes. You know, within half an hour to 1 hour, we finished all the books. We had no book left. So the temple management, you know, the principal, he was like, you know, who are these people, you know? You know, saying, you know, because we got the confirmation from his manager, you know, his manager. He gave. So he called his manager, who are these people? So yeah, they are from ISKCON. They are distributing books, Bhagavad Gita. ISKCON, okay, call them. So I was like, you know, wondering, you know, why he's calling us. You know, the manager came and he said, the principal wants to talk to you. You know, I and my friend went there, and we went inside. And I was like new, you know, 98. So I didn't know much, you know. And there were few models of ships, you know, it was a shipping, you know, college where they used to learn ship and all these things. And he told me, you know, do you remember this ship? I saw, and I could see Jal Duta. It clicked my mind, oh, this is Prabhupada's ship. Well, yes, this is the model in which Srila Prabhupada went to America. You want to take this model to your temple? I said, yes, why not? You know, I called the temple president, and they said, okay, you know, get this model. So this right now, Prabhupada quarters, 5th floor, the Jalduta model is, you know, placed right now. And that is the model, you know, which I had got that time from this college. So this is how Jalduta came back to, you know, Jalduta took Prabhupada to America, and now it's come back to ISKCON, you know, that because it said, na, pure devotees paraphernalia are also as good as a pure devotee. So like that, Jalduta is back, it's with ISKCON now.
How big is it, Prabhu?
Pardon?
How big is the
Oh,
boat?
it's quite big, quite big. The model is quite big. I mean, if you
Like
say
what,
around
1 meter, half a
24
meter?
around 24 meters, that much
Oh
big.
my God!
Yeah, that much
Wow!
big the model is, huge model,
Wow!
huge model, so it's like, it was like a dream, Prabhupada made me the instrument to get his Jalduta, because before that ISKCON never had a model of Jalduta. We only saw the picture of Jalduta in Lilamrita or like that, and this model is lying there, it's like.
Wow! Amazing.
I'd like to tell,
Yeah.
I'd like to tell a story.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, in 1980, when I came back from India, soon after that, I decided in LA to start Friends of Lord Krishna. So one of the members of Friends of Lord Krishna was a lady that had become a millionaire due to a medical malpractice insurance settlement. And she somehow, she thought that she would like me to be her husband. So, of course, I said there's no rush or anything, and of course, at the end, I ended up, leaving, and she followed me to San Francisco. Then I went to North Carolina, Miami, and then I went to India for 9 months. And so I came back to LA like 4 years later. And this lady, I said, look, I don't have a bank account. She wanted to give me money. I said, I don't have a bank account, and I'm a brahmachari. I cannot accept or anything. And big money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And she said that everything is ready for us to get married. That all we had to do is just go and get married, and I would have a big balance in the bank account and all that. And I said, well, there's no rush, yeah, we're compatible. Of course we were not. And but I told her, look, we do need $15,000 to print Coming Back, this book about reincarnation. And so she gave the $15,000, and with that it is that we printed the book Coming Back, right? So I put the money in a bank account that I was a signer in that bank account. And after that, the leaders, when they found out that $15,000 were in there, and they found out that this lady had like a romantic interest in me, they immediately took me out of the account, and they asked me to leave, because they were interested in the money, and they were thinking that I was, interested in the money. And I said, that's when I left that zone. They said, you should go to the farm in Colorado. I said, no, I'm leaving this zone. These people are, and they said, anything that's $25 or more, it's because I had asked for a ticket to India to get away from this lady. It was $500. They refused to do that. I said, well, okay, let me have enough to buy a tape recorder so I can listen to Prabhupada tapes, right? And they allowed me to do that. But when I left, they said anything that's $25 or more, and I had paid like $70 for that tape recorder at that time, has to stay here. Plus, we need a tape recorder in Prabhupada's room. So I had to come back to LA from San Francisco, and I gave them the tape recorder, of course. And then I went to see whether the tape recorder was in Prabhupada's room, and it was not. So cheap. So, it's just amazing. Around that time, I also had some tickets after it was 5 years of service, and I had traffic tickets because of taking the devotees to the airport and so forth. And I couldn't pay them, because I didn't have time to go on Sankirtan. I didn't have any money of my own. I was getting $1 a day for my needs. So there's no way. And they turned into a felony, like it turned into a lot of money, and I had been arrested or something. And I explained to them, I've given my life for 5 years, and you should at least pay this ticket. It was like $300 or something, and they refused to do it. So my doctor's sister paid the tickets for me. So that was so I was done with that zone of New Dwarka and I think it was Hawaii at that time, and also Colorado and so forth. And I went to San Francisco to the Bhaktivedanta Institute, and then I went to India after that, after 2 years in Miami and so forth. So yeah, amazing the degree of distrust and the degree of cheapness and the degree of greediness and so forth. So yep.
Let's try to keep this strictly pastime. Okay, Raja Prabhu, go ahead. Raja Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Hare. Hear me?
Hare Krishna.
You hear me? My voice.
Prabhuji, we can't hear you clearly, so turn off your video. Turn video off and just keep audio. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is it better now?
Yes,
Is it better?
yes.
Okay. My name is Vrajananda Das, and I am from France. And I appreciate so much this nice Sangha. Every day I try to hear, but it's not very easy to be connected with the video because it's very complicated. But finally, I managed to be this night on this Zoom. So yes, I am a devotee. I met the devotee about 40 years ago. They were in the street in Sankirtan, and I was initiated by one guru, and after I took another guru, but this guru, he disappeared. But was always with the Srila Prabhupada sentiment that I should always serving him life after life. And this story will explain a little bit that we are not always in a favorable condition to serve Srila Prabhupada. And this is a real story. I live in Ramanreti about maybe 10 years ago. And, it was in front of the main gate and on the gate of the Samadhi of Srila Prabhupada. And I was passing through, and I was seeing that many people was around, like a little bit afraid. So I was curious to know what was about. And I saw that actually there was a big monkey in the gate of this temple, of the Samadhi temple. So I enter, and I like very much the animals. Yeah, I like the animals, but this monkey was very in big distress. He was looking toward the Murti of Srila Prabhupada. He was looking toward Srila Prabhupada very directly, and he was like in a position of impossibility to do whatever. But at this moment, I understood exactly what he wanted. And I will show you what he wanted. And so I rush to the counter of the Mahaprasadam in the temple. And I asked to the lady 2-3 cup of leaf cup, Coming back to the Samadhi, I went to the lady who is distributing the Charanamrita, and I asked her to fill this cup. And I approached the monkey. I put the cup on the ground, and he took delicately the cup, and he actually he was drinking up to the last drop. Even few drop on the soil was on the ground was falling down, so he catch those drops. And finally, because you know the people was not very friendly with him, and particularly the chokidar, you know, the guard, because he wanted to chase him. But I said, no, wait. And finally, after he felt like not happy, but a little bit relieved from his pain. His pain was very great, and because he was looking at Srila Prabhupada with great anxiety. But after drinking this drop, this glass of Charanamrita, finally he left quietly, and everything became normal. Haribol. So this is for actually for illustrating that we may be, for a reason or another, not in the right condition, in human condition, to serve Srila Prabhupada. So it is better now that we have a human form to serve him, because it's much more easy than to be a monkey in Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Raja Prabhu, can I just ask you, you're in France, are you in contact with Mathura Pati Prabhu? Do you have each other's number?
Say it again.
Do you have Mathura Pati's contact details?
Actually, yes, I was speaking with him, and actually I should come to, but finally I could not because of problem of car, and so I will stay here. But I'm very happy to be with all of you.
Viva Prabhupada ki jai. Gauranga Sundar Prabhu, keep the flow of nectar flowing.
So this is another Sankirtan book distribution story. How Prabhupada's books and he himself, guides people who are not even related to ISKCON. One more story. Because I've done a lot of book distribution, so I know I meet such people that I myself astonished, how this is happening, So this I was doing in Jogeshwari, near Andheri Jew temple only, two stations. In the buildings we were doing, we took permission, we were doing in the building book distribution, door to door, home, this. So we, quite nice books went there. So then we start from the top and come to the down. So I was on the second floor. We put the bell, rang the bell, and this, child opens the door and he's like, oh, Gita wale hain, Gita wale hain, Gita wale hain. Like, they are Gita people. I was like, wow, small child, is so enthusiastic. I was wondering why. So, he opened the door and, the old lady came. One old lady. She would be around in her 80s, 70s, Vaishnav Tilak, Kanthi Mala, and bead bag in her hand. So I saw her, I paid my obeisances, seeing a Vaishnava there. And she called me inside and she said, okay, I have all these books. Yes. So I inquired about her. How, how are you connected to ISKCON? She said, no, I have never been to ISKCON. I said, wow, how did you get these books? Oh, like you, only people came and we took, by these books, So I said, then you didn't go to ISKCON? No, I didn't go to ISKCON. I read these books and I could understand what to do. So we started offering to the Lord his photos. We had this Bal Gopal, we offering to the Gopal. I said, but you need some instruction, because that time I was in ISKCON, with that mentality, you need a guru and all that, but you need someone, right? She told me, looking in my eyes, Prabhupada is there. He guides me. He personally guides me. He's there. He's still like, I was like, wow. I mean, I was, because she'd never been to ISKCON. She doesn't know any devotees, and her whole family of her child, his wife, and the children, they all are devotees. All the whole Vaishnav Parivar, they were devotees. And I was like, she fed me prashadam, and But like ecstatic, to see such people who are not touched with, and there are many people like this in this world, and who don't go to ISKCON, who have never been to ISKCON, but just by Prabhupada books and Prabhupada guidance and Prabhupada, helping them and giving instruction to them, by Chaitya Guru or by dreams or whatever, however, and they are just doing the carrying Krishna consciousness, Amazing. Amazing. Prabhupada ki jai.
Super story, wonderful. Yeah, it's so wonderful to see how Srila Prabhupada is alive, very much alive, and very much preaching. He has not stopped preaching, and it's the right realization. Srila Prabhupada is preaching more after 1977 than when he did when he was present physically. There's more expansions of Prabhupada out there. Oh, so much more books, more different languages, letters, tapes, audios. Now YouTube is so full of Srila Prabhupada preaching. So definitely, Prabhupada didn't be that. Any more pastimes with devotees? As you can see, quite a ruckus here. The journey after is violent. Okay, if there's nothing else.
Prabhus, I have a kind of a supernatural thing that happened to me in the Himalayas. I'm sorry I deviated a little bit in my previous presentation. I'll make sure not to do that this time.
Go ahead.
This is based on Srila Prabhupada's books, where he says in 7.1 that Jesus, according to archaeologists, went to Kashmir after the event of the tomb, he says, right? So I said, oh my God, I read this in 1980. And I said, wow, this is amazing. And I went to the library. I found a book called Jesus Died in Kashmir, I said, oh my God. So I made it a point that one day I would go and investigate, right? So in 1986, and at that time, 1980, I asked Prabhupada, please, have me have a supernatural experience to help ascertain whether Jesus went to Kashmir or not, or whether he's buried there, because they're talking about a tomb that is there, and Moses' tomb is there too, and Abraham is from over there. It was fascinating, and I thought this should be good for preaching, in the West. So I prayed to Prabhupada, please give me a supernatural experience, in addition to the study of the tradition of the people, in addition to archaeological sites or historical records, an interview with the top archaeologists of Kashmir and all that. And my predicament was that my visa was about to expire after 6 months, and I would have to leave India, and I didn't have any money. I had landed in Bombay with $39 in my pocket 6 months earlier. So, I was praying to Prabhupada, please make some arrangement. I need visa, otherwise I'm not going to be able to finish my research. I still had to go to near Tibet to find some manuscripts and so forth. And so finally I go to the burial site of Jesus, that everybody's pointing at, and I chant 32 rounds. I clean the place as a service, and I made an offering, and then I took some pictures, and then I sat down, for that supernatural experience that I had prayed for. And nothing happened for a while. I thought that Prabhupada would say, yes, Mahatma Das, Jesus is buried here or something like that. That's what I wanted, right? But that didn't happen. But interestingly, I heard people speaking Spanish outside the tomb, and I said, oh my God, this is amazing. I had a Chilean passport with me. And because few people speak English, everybody speaks Urdu, Kashmiri, etc. Not Spanish, not at all. So I said to myself, it would be amazing if these people are from Chile, And sure enough, I hear the Chilean accent. And so they come in, and it's 2 ladies, 2 kids, and a gentleman. Of all people that I could have run into in the eternity that is time, it was none other than the general counselor of the Chilean embassy. So I told him my predicament about visa, and he said, come to my office and we'll try. He wrote a letter to the immigration office of the government of India, and I got 3 months more visa after that. So it's just amazing. all of us had been born on the other side of the Andes, and here at this critical moment that I needed more visa, I ran into him in the middle of the Himalayas. That's all. Glories to God.
Okay, have we dried up? No more pastimes? Okay, then we'll end it here. Lost my voice, sorry. We had a whole day of Harinam yesterday. So we'll see you all tomorrow morning for the next day of the Prabhupada European 2023 Festival. Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai Haribol.
Thank you so much, dear devotees, for participating.
Thank you, Haribo.
And I hope this is just a small beginning. There'll be a lot more programs like this, and where people can share their pastimes with Prabhupada. So much more. You can see how much more Prabhupada is interactive.
Hare Krishna. Can I say something quickly, Prabhu?
Yes, of course.
I think that the main problem is the advertisement of the session, because actually we have to struggle to find where the places to be relayed in a live session. So I participate to other Zoom session, and the secret is to send the moment of the session, the hours of the session, the schedule, in the WhatsApp or whatever, and you will have many more devotees who will join. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we did that, Prabhuji. The schedule is out, has been out for more than 2 weeks on WhatsApp, on...
No. It's every day. Every day you should remain. We should recall people. Every day is like that. Because otherwise, very difficult to find the track and to go wherever you are. Actually, I tell you, it's not easy.
I'm not sure I understand you. Truck to go everywhere?
I told you that actually it's not so easy to find the track to be on your session. But if you are doing it every morning, you send a message to all the participants, and you send a link for the Zoom session, and you will see appearing many devotees.
I think he means the link where you just click and then you're there.
But Raja Prabhu, we made it so it's very easy. There's one link for all the classes. Anytime you want to join any class, it's the same link. We've sent it out everywhere so many times. Anyway,
Okay, but if it's so easy, why there is so few people participating?
now that's a question.
You should have 100 people, 100 devotees.
Okay, well, welcome to Kali Yuga. Anyway, whatever happens, we just try our best. The result is to Krishna's, and hopefully we'll get better the next time.
Haribol.
Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai Haribol.
See you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Haribol.
Vivo.